What is going on, my Patriots? How y'all guys doing? If it's your first time tuning into the broadcast, please do me a huge favor. Go ahead on and hit the like button, okay? If you can, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell all the way up top. That way, anytime that I am doing any of these broadcasts, you are able to know when I am online. Also, too, do me a big, huge favor. Please share this broadcast, so that way you are able to let your friends and family know of real news that is always here. So, with that being said, let's jump right straight into this. Dems, the Democrats, are now moving forward with a new power play. The new power play is something that we have all have been ready or prepared that was going to come up next. The Democrats wants to remove One American News, Fox News, and Newsmax from cable TV like Comcast, AT&T, Verizon, other cable and internet providers. Now, their thing is that they're trying to push to do this because they felt like that the conservative networks have been spreading misinformation. But we already know what the real reason is. It's not because of misinformation, it's because it's a good way to A, silence the competition, and B, people have to listen to the narrative that they want them to listen to. So, with this recent article, which I will have the link to this article down below, coming from The Hill, stating what these Democrats are actually imposing and saying about this new move. And then after I tell you guys that, I'm going to put my 2 cents in, what I think is going on, and what I feel like is the best course of action that we need to do to make sure that we don't let this get out of hand. House Democrats are pressing cable and streaming services over their decisions to host channels that the lawmakers accuse of spreading misinformation and conspiracy theories that led to real world harm. Re- Representatives out of the House, Anna Issue of California and Jerry McNerney, also of California, the senior members of the House Energy and Commerce Subcommittee on Communications and Technologies, sent letters to the companies on Monday questioning their ethical principles involved in deciding which channels to carry and when to take action against a channel. Some purported news outlets have long been misinformation rumor mills and conspiracy theories, hotbeds that produce content that leads to real harm, they wrote. Isn't that interesting? Before I go any further on this article, again, we already reading the hypocrisy of what's going on. Just like right now, we have real news coming from the conservative brands of Fox News, uh, One American News, and Newsmax, talking about real issues, real things, and stuff that is going on. But yet, we have mainstream media that don't report on matters that is really going on unless it fits their narrative. Example given right now, what's being reported about the administration has done recently with kids being detained that they catch at the border. At first, they were saying that President Trump administration had them where in cages, but reportedly now there's pictures, which I'll probably be doing that story later on tonight to go in detail, that the kids are now being kept in a shipping container with an air conditioning unit and lights. Now, don't you think that that is just as bad as keeping them in a fence, as they claim? or cages. Again, this is what we're dealing with when it comes to the media. It's like they only release the liberal media only release what they feel like is going to make us lean closer towards them. They will never release or talk about the real issues, like what's going on with Andrew Cuomo. They're not really talking about it that much. The only ones that really talking about it are what? Our conservative news outlets. Because why? Because they actually care. They want this to be exposed. And when they do talk about it, they like to do what I say a tiny bit of a summary because it involves their people. But I digress. Let's get back to the rest of the article. Now, the misinformation TV has led to our current polluted information environment that radicalizes individuals to commit seditious acts and rejects public health best practices, among other issues in our public discourse. The letter specifically calls out NewsMax, One American News, and Fox News. A Fox News spokesperson said the letter sets a terrible precedent. As the most watched cable news channel throughout 2020, Fox News Media provided millions of Americans with in-depth reporting, breaking news coverage, and clear opinion. For individual members of Congress to highlight uh, political speech, they do not like and demand cable distributors engage in viewpoint discrimination sets a terrible precedent, the spokesperson said in a statement. Newsmax also criticized the letter and defended its coverage. The House Democrats' attack on free speech and basic First Amendment rights should send chills down the spines of all Americans. Newsmax reportedly fairly and accurately on allegations and claims made by both sides during the recent election contest, the outlet said in a statement. The lawmakers also asked for information about the number of users who tuned into the station in the weeks leading up to the election and the January 6th at the Capitol. Now, see, this is where we're going too far. Now you are invading in people's personal privacy. Why would you want to have information of all the people that tuned in and looked at that particular news? That means you now are getting information about unnecessary information, invading our privacy of conservatives. That's what it seems like to me. So you're basically trying to tell us that you're setting this thing up like China. If you don't look at what we want you to look at, we are going to put a target on your back. That's basically what you're saying. I mean, what other reason why would you want that information? Because what are you trying to prove? You already got the people in custody that was a part of the riot. And believe me, we do not support what happened on January the 6th of the Capitol building, that of the insurrection. It was very disturbing, very upsetting, and it hurt a lot of people. But at the end of the day, you can't put all conservatives in that box that look at these channels for that. Hey, what's up, Sergeant? I'm glad to see you a part of the newscast, brother. Thank you for joining in. Me go ahead on, Sergeant, and subscribe to my channel, man. You might as well go on and subscribe on Twitch. The lawmakers also asked for, Esho and McNerney sent letters to traditional cable providers, including Verizon and Comcast, as well as tech companies that provide channels as part of streaming services, including Amazon, Google, Apple, Roku, and Hulu. Amazon said the company is reviewing the letter while a spokesperson for the Comcast declined to comment. Spokesperson for OAN, as known as One American News Network, the providers did not immediately respond for comment. Republicans are pushing back on the letter sent by the two Democrats. The majority is flirting with violating the First Amendment, a Republican aide said. Should the government be pressuring private industries to censor legal protected content and suppress the freedom of the press. No, if a free and independent press is still valued and mainstream in America, this censorship campaign should alarm every single journalist and member of the media. Now, the Federal Communication Commission Commissioner Brandon Carr, a Republican, called the letter a chilling transgression of free speech rights that every media outlet in this country enjoys. To the House Democrats that use their official letterhead to launch this inquiry, I would say this: your demand to know the moral principles that guide a private entity's decision about what news to carry cannot be reconciled with bedrock principles of free speech and journalistic freedom, he said in a statement. I call on my LCC colleagues to join me in public, publicly denouncing this attempt to stifle political speech and independent news judgment, Carr added. The letter is setting the scene for what will likely be a contentious Wednesday committee hearing about disinformation and extremism in the media. Democrats and Republicans have split on the issue in the past, notably in October over tech platform decisions to limit the spread of New York Post story that included allegations about Hunter Biden and the son of now President Biden. The story quickly drew skepticism, over its sourcing and findings. But when the tech giants clamped down on the spread of it online, Republicans widely criticized the companies of censoring content and anti-conservative bias. Republicans are expected to again bring up the controversy over the Post story on Wednesday. Democrats, however, may focus on the boosting of misinformation and the role it may have played in leading to the deadly insurrection at the Capitol on January the 6th. The letter issued in McNerney sent Monday highlights ways the station spread false claims about the election as well as the way the riot at the Capitol was covered. The letter also discusses reports of misinformation about COVID-19 reportedly shared by NewsMax, OANN, which is One American News Network, and Fox News. Guys, this is what's about to happen. We talked about this, and this is my opinion straight up. Big government wants to put their hands now on everything. That is the Democrats' way of making sure, part of socialism, what we've been talking about, to make sure that we stay in line. That's what they're doing. Now, is this going to work? Well, you got to understand something here. It can go a lot of ways here. You got to also not forget, they just removed key important people online this last year. And well, actually this year, they removed President Trump, who no longer can be on any major social media platform. He's banned for life, basically. You got Mike Lindahl. That's right, Mike Lindahl, the guy that sells the pillows for years. Been an outspoken conservative, diehard conservative. He's never been no racist or anything like that. He just spoke his mind. They have gotten him not only banned on all social media platforms, he can't even sell his products in the stores now. 20 stores dropped his products. My Pillow, all these years, I think it's my Pillow or whatever that pillow company called. I don't know all for sure, but I know he sells pillows. And he had a remarkable story. The guy was a drug addict, and he got himself together and made a pillow company. Sad but true. They have censored some of the Ben Shapiro. They all censored him. He can't be on Twitter anymore. They censored, who else have they? They censored a lot of major conservatives. The Hodgswins, they censored them on Facebook. I mean, guys, this is what we're dealing with. The radical left do not want you to speak out against them. They don't want any competition. You know, I remember a time that's what everybody liked about the news. You could compare notes. You can listen to one set of news to the other set of news, and it gives you a chance to dissect who's telling the truth and who's not. People like to hear the raw truth. That's why people like conservative news. They don't want to hear the liberal part where they're telling you everything's okay and we're doing things peacefully, but we got a building burning behind us and people screaming Black Lives Matter and fuck the police. Just saying. This is the stuff that we're dealing with. Now, what I think is going to happen is that if the hopefully the FCC will stand up because Fox News has been killing it in ratings. CNN ratings only went up during the election period. Now it's slipping again. All the other liberal medias are slipping again because people are tired of hearing the bullshit. So hopefully FCC can stand up and make it where that company, along with One American News Network and Fox News, will survive. But you guys already know how that's going to go. It's going to be a toss up. But anyway, before I get out of here, I need to know from you guys. I need y'all to get in my comments on YouTube. Do you think this is right? What the Democratic Party is doing? Being able to control what news network can be on cable TV? Do you think that what the Democratic Party is doing is wrong and is infringing on our freedom of speech, which is the First Amendment? Or do you think that this is probably just a what they call this a publicity stunt to try to instill fear in the networks to not be so how can I put this revealing on some of the things that is going on in the Democratic Party? So, like I said, I just need y'all guys' comments. If you can, please be a part of the $5 challenge. I have everything in the description box below. Also, to support us again with buying some of the Teespring gear for the patriotic movement that we got over here in this channel. Thank y'all very much for being supportive. Take care of yourselves and each other. And I definitely will be back with more content.